Hi, welcome back to the Distressed Princess. I'm Rhonda, and here are the DIYs I'm working on today. For the first DIY, I'm using this decorative thing that I got at the Dollar General store, and I thought it was really cute. I loved its little hanging sign. It was on clearance, so I only paid $2 instead of the original $4. But I just am not decorating with a nautical theme this year, so I'm going to transform it into something that will go a little bit better with my decor. I'm using 3 of these glass little vases. They came from the Dollar Tree, and they originally had a flower inside, like a big Gerber daisy is what was originally inside these little vases, but I plucked those out and I'm going to just use the glass. The next step is to cut the sign off of the frame, and I'm going to turn the frame over so that those 2 little holes where the sign was hanging, they're going to be on the bottom and they're going to be hid by the vases. This is so simple. This is such an easy thing that anyone can do, and it's going to turn out so cute, I promise. Line your vases up on the bottom of the frame, and we're just going to hot glue them in place. And now I'm going to put some of this eucalyptus that came from the Dollar General store, $3 for this nice bunch. And I just love the quality of this one. It's in those Dollar General stores that have the nicer home decorations. If you have one of those stores around you, check it out because they're awesome. And so here it is, all transformed from a nautical themed decoration to something that could go in anyone's home. Have you ever heard of wooden flowers? These are solo wood flowers, and a lot of crafters and DIYers are using them to make the most pretty home decorations, centerpieces for weddings, and so much more. And so I'm showing you this today because they sent me a box, and I'm going to do an unboxing, and it is one of their centerpiece kits. Now, I got to pick which one I wanted, and I picked the all-natural kit. And so, and you also get to pick what color of box that you want. And I picked white, but they have all kinds of different colors. And my kit, the all-natural kit, came with these solo wood flowers. And there are different kinds. As you can see inside of that bag, there's sort of different kinds and different shapes of the flowers. Also, they send you filler, and this looks like kind of dried baby's breath, and the other filler looks like dried lavender. I'm so excited to put this together, but I had other DIYs planned for today, so I'm not going to put the centerpiece together. I'm just showing you what came in the box. These are the skewers that you would attach the solo wood flowers to and stick them down inside of the floral foam, which they sent floral foam too. So everything you need to make this centerpiece is right here in the box. And the last part of the kit is the floral die, and you get to pick what colors you want. And these flowers are not just for floral arrangements. I love how this person used them to decorate a nursery. So keep watching my upcoming videos to see me put the centerpiece together, but for today, I'm just going to use a couple of the raw flowers in this next DIY. I'm using this plate that I got at the Dollar General store for $2, and this really nice glass votive holder that has a rope handle from the Dollar Tree. And I wanted to show you this because it's an inspiration piece. I got this for $1, at my Rural King, but I'm going to make something similar out of Dollar Tree items. And so as you see, these items are the tumbling tower block game. I'm going to use some of those, and I'm going to use this really pretty book of scrapbook paper, and this came from Tuesday Mornings. If you haven't been to a Tuesday Mornings, check out their craft section. They have awesome deals. And I'm going to use this bloom where you are planted, really pretty little square piece for my little decoration. Sort of like putting together a puzzle, I laid out the tumbling tower blocks on top of the design to see how many it would take to cover it up. Well, actually, I'm not covering up the design. The design is going to go on top of the wood pieces. I'm just trying to make a backing. Now I'm using this scrapbook paper, but if you don't have something like this that you want to use, you could of course go online, Google images, and pick out any picture that you like, print it out, and it will work just the same. Now I have the shape of my backing all put together, and now I have to cut out the design. And this is how the picture is going to go on top of the wood blocks. Then just hot glue all the wood blocks together. To make this decoration stand up, we're going to need one more tumbling tower block that we're going to hot glue to the back so that it will stand up. Now I chose to paint my blocks white, you know I usually do, but other colors would look really pretty too. Any color that you like. I think black would be really nice, even blue, whatever matches your design and makes you happy. You could even just use it plain. I really had to think for a little bit what would be the best adhesive to put this design onto the wooden blocks, and I settled on Mod Podge. And I think it was the right choice. I was afraid because this was a heavier scrapbook paper that it might not want to stick very well, but it stuck just fabulously. Now isn't that cute? On the little plate from the Dollar General store and the glass votive holder from the Dollar Tree. It's shaping up to be a really cute arrangement. Now I'm going to use just a couple of the solo wood flowers, just plain, to dress it up a little more. And this is the same eucalyptus bunch that was left over from the first DIY. I'm using the 2 stems that were left to put inside of the glass votive holder. And that's going to do it for this DIY, and I think it's such a classy look. The next DIY is using this letter board that I was so excited to find at the Dollar Tree, but it's just a little plain Jane. So I'm going to frame it out using this pack of paint sticks that you can get around $1 at your Walmart, Home Depot, or Lowe's. The first thing to do in making this frame is get your paint sticks all cut down to the right size. And this letter board is a perfect square, so all of the paint sticks were cut the same. If you have any rough edges like I did because I used a handsaw, just sand those down. Now it's time to do miter corners, and this is my first attempt, and I was really happy with how it went. So follow these instructions. On the end of each paint stick, you want to make a square, and then you are going to cut the square diagonal. And it's like Again, like putting together a puzzle. So now you need to make a square on the second paint stick and figure out if you cut a diagonal on that, how would they fit together? And it would go like this. And do you see how they go together? And I mark an X on the pieces that are to be cut just to make sure that I keep it straight in my mind what is actually getting cut off. And here is how they fit together. When both of your pieces are cut, test fit them together, and looky there, I did it, a miter corner. I was so impressed with myself. So then you do the same thing for all of the corners. Now, if you are a woodworking person, you might have a totally different and better way of figuring this out, but this is how it worked for me. I hope it helps you guys too. To attach my pieces together, I'm using my heavy-duty stapler. And because the paint sticks are so thin, I had to use a scrap piece of paint stick underneath, you see there, so that the staples didn't go all the way through into my table. And then I pulled the scrap piece away and hammered down the staples that stuck out on the back side. Because I had just a little bit of gapping, I don't know why or how, but the staples kind of pulled my corners. My perfectly mitered corners got pulled apart just a teeny smidgen, and I didn't like that. So I'm using some joint compound to fill in those cracks. You could use spackle from the Dollar Tree, which is what I actually would have used because it dries faster, but I don't have any of that. So I used joint compound and then I speed dried it with my hairdryer. Then I dipped my brush into my Rust-Oleum white chalk paint. Do you guys ever get tired of me painting everything white? Let me know in the comments if you would like me to use different colors. I just use what would go in my house. If I'm using this letterboard in my house, it's got to match everything else. So I am painting it white and I'm distressing it with my Waverly Antique Wax. And I kind of wanted it to look like an aged wood. So this is a process. It is totally optional. It's totally up to you what color you want to paint your frame, if you want it to be distressed or not. But this is how I chose to do the distressing on this particular piece. And so I went around the edges, dry brushing with the Waverly Wax. And then I thought, no, that wasn't really quite enough. So then I started adding a little more in darker stripes, trying to get a wood grain sort of effect. And then after I was happy with how the stripes were looking, then I went over it with my hair dryer to dry it up real quick, and then I sanded it. And the sanding is what blended it all together and really made it look like a nice distressed piece of wood. Now that the frame is complete and painted and distressed, just hot glue it to the letterboard. And then you get to put whatever fun, inspirational sayings, quotes, or just funny little tidbits that you want to put. And the last DIY today is using this galvanized piece of metal from the Dollar Tree and this picture frame that I was finally able to find at the Dollar Tree, and a leftover design that came out of a picture frame that came from Dollar General a long time ago, but you could definitely print out whatever you like off of Google Images. The first step is to remove the part of the picture frame that makes it stand up and then take its insides out. Then I needed to trim down my design, so I used the picture that was inside the frame as a template. I traced around it and I cut it. Put everything back inside of the frame, and then the last step is just to hot glue the frame onto the piece of galvanized metal. And just like that, you've transformed two pieces into one really spectacular piece. And here's another look at all the DIYs that we did today, transforming some ho-hum pieces or pieces that didn't quite fit into my home decor and made them into something that I will be happy to display every day. If you're interested in getting your own solo wood flowers, I will leave a link in my description box that will take you to their website and you can shop around. I'm so happy that you guys joined me today. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.